Hello, my friend. Before we begin, I want to invite you to take a moment and just breathe. I know that sounds simple, but in a world full of distractions, full of stuff, full of to-do lists, it's easy to forget that peace is something we can choose to make room for, right in our own homes. Let me ask you something personal. When you walk from room to room, do you feel light and free? Or do you feel a quiet weight? Maybe not crushing, but always present. Like something's pressing on your shoulders, even though you can't quite name it. You see, for many of us, especially in this season of life, the things we've spent years collecting, keeping, holding on to, they're no longer serving us. They're not helping. In fact, they might be silently stealing something we've worked hard to earn: our peace, our time, and our comfort. This isn't a conversation about minimalism or giving up the things you love. It's about being honest with yourself. It's about creating a home that supports the way you live now, not how you used to live, and not how you think you should be living. Right now, as you are. So in today's video, we're going to talk about 12 everyday things that may seem harmless, things you've probably organized over and over again, but that are actually weighing you down more than you realize. These are the hidden costs of holding on, and once you recognize them, you'll start to understand that letting go doesn't mean loss. It means freedom. Freedom to move easier, freedom to breathe deeper, freedom to live lighter. 1. The someday closet. Let's begin with a space that's often tucked away, behind a door we rarely open without a sigh: your closet. Or maybe your guest room closet, or the one down the hall where things go to wait. We all have one. It's filled with clothes that used to fit, shoes we meant to wear, and outfits we promised ourselves we'd use someday. But here's the truth that might be hard to admit: someday almost never comes. And in the meantime, those things are taking up more than just space. Every time you open that door, your mind has to make 100 tiny decisions. Should I keep this? What if I need it? Could I still wear it? That mental noise? That's clutter too. You see, peace isn't just about how things look. It's about how your home makes you feel. And when your closet is full of items that remind you of a version of yourself you no longer are, or one you feel guilty for not being, it quietly chips away at your self-esteem. I want you to know this. It is perfectly okay to release what no longer fits your life today. That dress you wore to your daughter's wedding? It gave joy once. It doesn't need to stay to be honored. That pair of pants that hasn't fit in 5 years? Let it go. Your body deserves clothes that fit and feel good now, not someday. Keep the items that make your mornings easier, not heavier. Keep what fits your body, your lifestyle, and your sense of ease. And everything else? Bless it, thank it, and let it go. Whether you donate, pass it on to a friend, or just make space, what you're really doing is making room for clarity, for simplicity, and for the next beautiful chapter of your life. You deserve a closet that greets you with calm, not guilt. So take a deep breath, open that door, and ask yourself, is this item part of my life today? Or is it just a memory hiding on a hanger? 2. The plastic parade. Let's head into the kitchen, one of the most used, most loved, and often most cluttered spaces in our homes. And if you're anything like me, you probably have one cabinet that you avoid opening, unless you absolutely have to. You know the one I'm talking about. It's where all the plastic containers go to multiply. You reach in to find something simple, a lid for leftovers maybe, and what you get is an avalanche. A dozen mismatched containers, some with no lids, others with stains, or those strange warped corners from too many microwaves. And every time you think, I should really organize this, you close the door and walk away. But here's the thing. Organizing the chaos doesn't solve the problem. It just rearranges it. This isn't about having the perfect Pinterest-worthy kitchen. This is about ease. This is about safety. This is about not bending over, digging through piles of old plastic, and risking a spill, or worse, a fall. You do not need 20 containers. You do not need every odd lid, hoping one day the match will return. All you need are a few, just a few, high-quality, stackable containers with matching lids that actually get used. If you want to go a step further, consider switching to glass. They're sturdier, safer for reheating, and much easier to keep clean. Plus, they stack so much better and take up half the space. But whatever you choose simplicity. Because every time you remove friction from your day, you make life easier, not just for yourself, but for those who love and care for you too. So today, I invite you to open that cabinet. Don't just organize it, liberate it. Let go of the clutter and reclaim that shelf for what truly supports you. 3. The dream gadgets we never use. Now let's stay in the kitchen for just a moment longer and take a look at something many of us have quietly collected over the years. Dream gadgets. You know the ones. That fancy bread maker you bought after watching a cooking show. The air fryer you thought would change everything. The pasta machine you used once, then promised yourself you'd try again, someday. But here's the gentle truth, friend. Those gadgets are not serving your daily life. They're not making cooking easier. They're just taking up space and reminding you of all the things you meant to do, but didn't. And that quiet guilt? That weighs more than the appliance itself. We buy these tools with good intentions. And for a moment, they feel like hope, like possibility. But when they sit unused for months or even years, they stop inspiring and start intruding. Here's a new way to look at it. It's not wasteful to let go. In fact, it's wise. Because what you're really doing is clearing space for who you are now. Not who you used to be, not who you thought you'd become, who you are today. Maybe your meals are simpler now, and that's not a failure. That's freedom. So take a slow walk through your drawers and cabinets. Ask yourself, when was the last time I truly used this? Does it make life easier or just noisier? If it's been gathering dust, it's time to let it go. You can donate it, gift it, or simply clear the space, because every time you choose usefulness over guilt, you make your home a little lighter and your days a little freer. 4. Too much of a good thing. The hidden weight of duplicates. Let's move from the big gadgets to the little things, because sometimes it's not the large, obvious clutter that weighs us down. Sometimes it's the quiet accumulation of duplicates, those just-in-case items hiding in plain sight. Open any kitchen drawer, bathroom cabinet, or tool bin, and you'll see what I mean. 3 can openers, 5 pairs of scissors, 4 kinds of measuring spoons, 7 spatulas, some melted on the edges. And yet, when you really think about it, how many of these do you actually use on a regular basis? It starts with good intentions. Maybe something breaks and you replace it, but keep the old one. Maybe a friend gives you an extra. Maybe you bought a newer version, but never had the heart to toss the original. Over time, these extras pile up until your space feels tight, your drawers don't close properly, and finding the one tool you actually need becomes a frustrating daily chore. But here's the part we don't always see. Every extra item adds a tiny layer of mental clutter. More decisions to make, more things to sort through, more time wasted, more stress quietly building. You see, simplicity isn't about having nothing. It's about having just enough. Enough to function, enough to move easily, enough to find what you need without digging or guessing. So here's a gentle suggestion. Choose your favorite. Keep the can opener that works best, the scissors that feel good in your hand, the one spatula that's your go-to, and then release the rest. Let them go without guilt. Let them find a home with someone who needs them more than you do. Imagine opening a drawer, and seeing only what you actually use. No clutter, no confusion, no frustration. That is peace, and it starts with letting go of extra. So today, take a walk through your drawers and cabinets. Ask yourself, do I need all of these? Or am I just keeping them out of habit? Clear space, clear mind, and a much easier day ahead. 5. The linen closet. That's overflowing with just in case. Let's open that hallway door we don't talk about much, the linen closet. Inside, you might find towels stacked high, sheets stuffed into corners, pillowcases that haven't seen a bed in years. Sound familiar? We keep extras just in case. Extra sheets for guests that rarely visit, old towels we might use for painting or the dog. But slowly, it turns into a mountain of fabric that we never really touch. Here's a gentle truth. You only need 2 to 3 sets of sheets per bed and a few towels you actually enjoy using. That's it. Not the scratchy ones, not the ones with frayed edges, and definitely not the ones that fall on your head when you open the door. Letting go doesn't mean waste. It means choosing ease. You can donate gently used linens to animal shelters or community programs where they'll be used and appreciated. What you'll gain is more than just space. You'll gain smoother laundry days, easier access to what you truly use, and one less spot in the home that makes you sigh. That closet can feel calm again, and so can you. 6. The bathroom cabinet. Full of expired promises. Now, let's take a look behind the bathroom mirror or under the sink. What do you see? Half-used lotion bottles, old hotel shampoos, expired cold medicine, perfume from another decade? We all do it. We collect and forget. But eventually, these items add up. They crowd our shelves, make it hard to find what we need, and even become a safety risk. One slip, one spill, and things can go wrong quickly. Start by clearing out anything expired or unused. Most pharmacies now offer safe disposal for old medications. Keep only what you use often, the essentials that support your health and well-being right now. You don't need 5 face creams or a drawer full of dusty makeup. You need simplicity, ease, and a space that feels clean and calming. Once you clear the clutter, your bathroom becomes what it's meant to be again, a space for care, not chaos. 7. The shoes that hurt more than they help. Let's take a look down, not just at our feet, but at the shoes we're asking them to carry us in. Go ahead and open your closet or look by the door. How many pairs of shoes do you see? Now ask yourself, how many of those do you actually wear? If you're like most people, you probably have a few favorites. The reliable pair you slip on for errands, the cozy slippers you shuffle around the house in, the sturdy walking shoes that have seen better days but still feel like home. And then there's the rest. The heels you haven't worn in years, the dress shoes kept for a wedding that never came, that pair of flats that never quite fit but were too expensive to let go, or the sneakers you thought would be comfortable but never really were. We keep these shoes because of memories, because of cost, because we tell ourselves we might need them just in case. But here's what we don't often admit. Shoes that don't fit, don't feel good, or don't get worn are not just clutter. They're risk. They're frustration. They're one more thing to trip over, one more thing to feel guilty about, one more layer of noise in a life that deserves quiet. And in this stage of life, comfort is not indulgent. It's necessary. Support is not optional. It's protective. Our feet carry more than our bodies. They carry our independence. So here's what I gently suggest. Choose the shoes that serve you now, the ones that are easy to put on, that feel stable, that support your movement, not limit it. Keep just a few pairs, maybe 2 or 3, that you truly wear and trust. Then, thank the rest for their time and let them go. You don't need to keep shoes for every version of your past. You need shoes that walk beside you today. And if they're in good condition, pass them along. Someone out there may need that very pair you've been stepping around for years. Because every pair you remove is one less obstacle, one less thing to bend over for, one less chance of slipping, and one more step toward a life that feels light, safe, and free. 8. The army of cleaning supplies. You don't really need. Let's open a cabinet. Maybe the one under your kitchen sink or in the laundry room or even in a hallway closet. Now take a look at what's inside. Chances are you'll find a collection of cleaning supplies that has grown over the years. Bottles of spray cleaner for windows, one for the counters, one for the bathroom, one just for floors. Maybe even a specialty cleaner for stainless steel, a carpet spot remover, wood polish, tile scrubber, toilet bowl tabs, and something with a label that's worn off completely. You might not even know what half of it is for anymore. And yet, it stays. Why? Because we tell ourselves it might come in handy. Because cleaning feels like one of those just-in-case responsibilities we need to be ready for. Because if we have the right tools, we feel like we're still in control. But here's the truth. You don't need a small army of bottles to keep your home clean. In fact, all that variety might actually be making things harder. Too many options leads to decision fatigue. Too many products clutter your space and block the ones you actually use. And more importantly, many of them contain harsh chemicals that aren't good for you or anyone else in your home. You deserve a safe, breathable, low-effort environment. That doesn't mean lowering your standards. It means simplifying your process. So here's the shift. Choose just a few quality, multi-purpose cleaners. A gentle, all-purpose spray. A disinfectant you trust. A soft soap for delicate surfaces. That's it. That's all most homes truly need. Everything else, if it's expired, unused, duplicated, or unknown, let it go. And here's the bonus. The less you have to lift, move, and manage, the easier cleaning becomes. Less bending, fewer heavy bottles to carry, and a clearer path to doing only what needs to be done. Your energy is valuable. It shouldn't be wasted on hunting through a jungle of products every time you want to wipe a counter. So take a few minutes today to open that cabinet. Let it breathe. Choose ease. Choose clarity. And give yourself the gift of fewer steps, fewer bottles, and far fewer chemicals. 9. The old appliances, stealing your counter space. Let's walk back into the kitchen for a moment, and this time, let's take a look at your countertops. Go ahead, picture them. What do you see? Is there a coffee maker you still use every morning? Great. But is it sitting next to another one you meant to fix, but never did? What about a toaster that only works on one side? A blender that hasn't been touched since the holidays 3 years ago? Maybe even a rice cooker, a food processor, or a slow cooker that feels more like a decoration than a tool. Now, I want to ask you something simple but important. Do these appliances support your life today? Or are they just sitting there taking up space, reminding you of past routines or good intentions that never quite became habits? It's easy to let appliances stay right where they are because, well, they're not in the way, until they are. Crowded countertops don't just make your kitchen look busier. They actually slow you down. They create clutter in your mind. They collect dust, and they make it harder to prepare food safely and efficiently. And for many older adults, that extra clutter isn't just annoying. It can be a safety risk. Here's what I want you to remember. You don't owe space to anything that doesn't actively serve your life today. If you haven't used it in the last 6 months and don't feel truly excited to start again, it may be time to let it go. Pass it on to someone who will use it. Recycle it if it's broken. Clear the space. Imagine walking into your kitchen and seeing clean, open countertops. Space to prepare a meal. Space to breathe. That's not just a tidier kitchen. It's a quieter mind. Less visual clutter means more clarity. More space means more movement. And fewer appliances means fewer things to clean, fix, or trip over. You deserve that kind of ease. So go ahead. Give yourself permission to let the unused go. 10. The furniture that crowds instead of comforts. Now let's leave the kitchen and step into the living room, or the bedroom, or maybe even that hallway that feels just a little too tight. Look around at the furniture in your home, not just how it looks, but how it functions in your day-to-day life. There might be a recliner that no one uses anymore, a big, bulky coffee table that you have to sidestep every time you walk by, a dresser that's filled with clothes you haven't worn in years, a side table with a wobbly leg, a heavy bookshelf that hasn't been touched, except to dust. We often think of furniture as permanent. Once it's placed, it stays. But over time, as our lives change, our needs change too, and our homes should reflect that. If a piece of furniture isn't offering you comfort, storage, or true purpose, then what it might be offering instead is resistance. And in this season of life, resistance is the last thing we need. Movement should be easy. Walking through a room shouldn't feel like navigating an obstacle course. Every extra piece, no matter how lovely it once was, can become a hazard. Here's the truth. Letting go of a piece of furniture is not letting go of a memory. It's creating room for peace, for safety, and for ease. Start by identifying just one piece that's no longer helpful, something you walk around every day, something that doesn't serve the way you live now. Ask yourself, if this were gone, would my space feel better, more open, safer? If the answer is yes, then trust that instinct. Even removing just one large item can change how a room feels. More light, more air, more freedom to move without worry. And remember, your home isn't a museum of the past. It's a place to live in, right now, with comfort, with grace, and with ease. You deserve a space that lets you breathe, not one that holds you back. 11. The sentimental clutter we're afraid to let go of. This one is tender because it's not really about things, it's about memories. If you've lived in your home for years, maybe even decades, you've likely collected keepsakes along the way. Family photos, souvenirs from special trips, handmade gifts from grandchildren, holiday decorations, birthday cards, drawings, trinkets from people who've passed, the things that tell your story. These pieces matter. They hold emotion. They carry weight. They whisper reminders of love, laughter, and loss. But here's the part we rarely talk about. When there's too much of it, when every surface is covered, every shelf is full, every drawer packed, it becomes hard to appreciate any of it. The memories start to blur. The dust builds. The joy we once felt from seeing that old figurine or framed photo starts to fade under the pressure of too much. And sometimes, behind the sentiment is a sense of guilt. We're afraid that letting go of an object means letting go of the person or moment tied to it. But that's not true. You can keep the memory and still release the item. You can honor someone's place in your life without holding on to every single thing they left behind. So here's a gentle invitation. Choose the most meaningful pieces, the ones that truly warm your heart, the ones that make you pause and smile. Display them with care. Give them the spotlight. Let them breathe. And the rest? Consider storing a few in a memory box. Digitize others, or lovingly pass them on to someone else in the family. Because when we make space around our most cherished objects, they shine brighter. They stand out. They remind us of what truly matters. Without being buried in the noise, letting go of sentimental clutter isn't forgetting, it's remembering more clearly. 12. The quiet pile of paper that's grown too loud. And now, we arrive at one of the most sneaky, overwhelming forms of clutter: paper. It starts small, An old bill here, a letter there, a few magazines, a warranty you thought you might need someday. Then, before you know it, drawers are full. The top of your desk is buried. That junk drawer isn't junk at all. It's just full of paper. We keep it because we think we're supposed to, because it might be important, because we're afraid of tossing something we might need later. But here's the truth. Paper rarely earns the space we give it. Old receipts, expired coupons, outdated medical records, appliance manuals for things you no longer own. None of it is serving your life today. And here's what happens. The more paper you have, the harder it is to find the one piece you truly need. The clutter makes your home feel heavier and your mind feel busier. So let's simplify. Start with one small pile. Toss anything that's obviously outdated or irrelevant. Keep only what's truly necessary. Important medical documents, legal records, insurance information, or personal letters that still bring you joy. Consider digitizing anything you don't need in physical form. You can scan papers into simple folders on your computer, or ask a trusted family member to help if technology feels overwhelming. Store the essentials in a clearly labeled folder or a small fire-safe box. That way, when you do need something, you'll know exactly where it is. And the rest? Let it go. A clean table, an empty drawer, a clear desk. These things don't just create physical space, they give you mental peace. You've carried enough in your life. You don't need to carry paper from 20 years ago, too. So, friend, here we are. We've walked together through 12 parts of your home, and maybe, if you're honest with yourself, 12 parts of your life, where clutter might be quietly stealing more than just space. And if you've been feeling overwhelmed, I want you to know this: you are not alone. We don't keep things because we're careless. We keep them because we care, because they meant something once, because they represent effort, memory, or identity. But holding on too tightly can cost us more than we realize. It costs us time. It costs us energy. Sometimes it costs us our safety. And more often than not, it costs us peace. But here's the beautiful part. You have the power to change that, one small decision at a time. Letting go is not about loss. It's about freedom. It's about reclaiming your home as a place of rest, not responsibility. It's about clearing room, not just for more space, but for more life. More time for the people you love. More ease in the tasks that once felt hard. More calm in the corners that used to feel cluttered.